and welcome to the third and last of this fantastic back care class. Well done for joining me again. I hope you've been enjoying it. I hope you've been progressing slowly at your own pace. Please take your time, increase your strength and suppleness gradually. Okay, thanks very much to Helen, and thanks to my other daughter Anna for doing all the technical stuff. So let's start off with a lovely loosening up and shaking into all of our joints. By this time you should be used to this. You should know what makes you feel good and what actually you don't like very much. So just do whatever feels good for you. And just get rid of any tension. Really move the arms, keep the knees soft, and have a good shake. Start rolling into the shoulders, lifting the elbows, bring the knees in, start bending, use your breath. You might want to alternate, whatever feels good. If you look at your hand as it goes behind you, scooping down, so you're using your knees. So my hands are joining at the top. But if your shoulders are uncomfortable, then you can keep your arms down and just use the elbows like this. Whatever feels comfortable. Take the feet a little bit further apart, and you might just like to just very gently bounce knee to knee. Like that. You can make it a bit deeper if you want to, if that's comfortable. And then let's do our, what they call skiing. Okay, so the knees are going to be soft and bent, and we're using the whole body. Just make it loose. Let go of the breath. Excellent. Very nice. Okay, so let's stand in our mountain posture. So our feet are hip width apart, our knees are soft, lifting the tummy, lifting the chest bone, our shoulders are relaxed. And let's concentrate on this muscle here. Imagining you've just washed your favourite jeans, they're a bit tight. Just need to breathe in as you zip up. Lift the sternum, tuck the tailbone under. Nice and straight and tall and strong. And now we just put your fingers on your hip bones, soften the knees, and we're just going to start that tailbone movement. We've been practicing this while we've been standing. We've been doing it in the cat pose and the one on the back, which is called the bridge. So I'm just tipping forward and backwards. Take your time, really see if you can get just the tailbone to tip by using these muscles here. Excellent. Can you make a figure of 8 now with your hip bone? So try to keep the shoulders still. Just let the hip bones, you can see by keeping my hands on my hips, my elbows are doing the figure of 8 as well. Can you go the other way? You might want to separate the feet a bit more to do that. Now if you're sitting on a chair, obviously you can't do this, but what you can do is just move so you're sitting up and relaxing and sitting forward. And just get that tailbone moving. But if you're standing up, just do that figure of 8. Fantastic. Okay, so let's start with our tree. We've done our tree each week now. So hopefully you're getting a bit stronger and more balanced in your standing leg. So choose which leg you want to start on, make it tall and strong like the trunk of a tree. Lift up, no tipping of the pelvis. Lift up, lift the sternum, breathe in. Lift your foot to your chosen position, whether that's on your toes or your ankle or up by the calf. And if you find it difficult to balance, you can hold on to the chair back like this if you've managed to stand. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Opening the branches of the tree and relax down. Okay, so the other leg's going to be your tall, strong tree trunk. Breathing in, put your foot in your chosen position. Nice and tall, but your shoulders are not coming up to our ears, they're nice and relaxed. Breathe out. Breathing in, opening the chest. And breathing out. That's fantastic, well done. So all of this should be strong and strengthened now, able to balance. What we're going to do today is we're going to progress into the triangle. So that's why we've got our mats this way. So we're going to have our feet more than hip width apart, probably more than 2 hip widths apart, but you're going to adjust the feet to your own comfort. So turn the foot, my left foot, Helen's left foot, all the way out so that my heel is now lined up with the instep of my other foot. This leg is the standing leg's got to be super strong. Now when I bend this knee, the knee must not come in front of the toes. If it's coming in front of the toes, either don't bend as far or just sneak that foot a little bit further forward so that we've got this part of the leg is straight up. And it mustn't bend forward or bend out. It's got to be straight so that when you look down, you can just see your big toe peeking in front of the knee and there's no in or out of the knee, otherwise it puts a lot of strain. Don't stand there in too long a position, otherwise you will get tired if you're not used to it. So I just want you to practice that, bending and straightening. This leg is very strong. I've turned my heel a tiny little bit of the way out and I'm pushing my weight down on the little toe side of that foot to keep it strong. Just bending and straightening. My shoulders are in a straight line so that if I lift my arms, they're directly up and down like that. Okay, so I'm going to ask Helen now to turn sideways so that we can see. Can you stand here in front of the camera? That's it. So when she bends her knee, perfect. It's not falling in here and it's not going out there and it's directly in a straight line, and when she lifts her arms, her body's in a straight line, her arms are above her legs. Fantastic. Okay, so make sure that you're comfortable to do this. Now if it feels unsteady, bring the feet a bit closer and don't bend very much. If it doesn't feel steady enough, take them a little bit further apart, and we're just lifting the arms as we bend, getting used to that feeling. And the back leg, super strong, press the weight down on the little toe side. And when we've started to get used to this, what we're going to do is just gently come down towards the knee. So you can see all the work is here, and I'm just beginning to come down. So when you're comfortable, come down. The top shoulder is up, and you can put your hand on your hip, or you can lift your arm, put the hand back down, straighten this leg. Breathing in, bending. Over you go. Lift the arm if you want to, or you can keep it there. And when you're quite comfortable with this, straighten this top leg and you'll find that you're now in a triangle. So there should be a straight line between the arms. Bend the front knee and just push yourself out of it. So I just want Helen to demonstrate that. Okay, so bend the front knee, take the hand down towards the knee, lifting the arm, straighten the front leg, and she's in a beautiful triangle. It's as though there's a straight line between her hands. Bend the knee, lower the top arm and push back up. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is probably something you've never done before, so it's going to take a little while to get used to it. So I'm just going to go through the most important points. So the feet are in line, this heel to the arch. When I bend forward, this is a straight line. My knee's not coming forward above the toes and it's not falling in here or here. Okay, and this is really strengthening for the muscles of the lower back and the legs. Okay, so let's try now on the other side. Helen goes there, you can see both of us. So I'm opening my feet. It might feel completely different on this side, so we might have to adjust our feet. So I'm taking the heel of my left foot out just a little bit and my right foot all the way, so it's pointing away. The heel is in line with the instep and I'm just going to let that knee bend forward. Make sure it's in a straight line. If you're not sure, you can ask somebody to check or you can have a look in the mirror. So, you might need to sneak your toes forward a little bit. Once you're in the right position, try not to grip the toes. The weight should be evenly distributed. Make sure that the knee's not coming in or out. And when you're quite confident with your knee, you can let the arms flow up and down. And when you're quite confident that you can come up and down in a nice, easy manner without losing the balance, we're just going to let the top arm, the right arm, come down, rest on the thigh. The top arm doesn't have to go straight at this point, and if it's uncomfortable, you can keep it on the hip. And now push back up. And when you're ready, rest the arm down on the thigh. Lift the top arm up or keep it on your hip. This top shoulder needs to be back. And straighten that leg in your lovely triangle. Don't hold it too long. You can look up at your hand or you can look straight ahead. You can look down at the floor if you want to. It's the position of the arms. Everything else is in line. Bend the front knee and push back up. Relax the arms. Turn the feet in and then heel toe them together. I'm just going to ask Helen to demonstrate again. Just want to make sure you, excuse me, that you've got your alignments completely right. So Helen's got a nice wide stride. Turn the back heel out a little bit. And the weight should be in the little toe side of that. So she pushes it out. And the heel's in line with the instep of this foot. The right foot all the way out. And now she bends her knee. And you can see it's got a lovely straight line there. The knee's not falling in, not falling out. Her arms are in line. She's just relaxing down. And then she can straighten that top leg. A lovely straight line. She's looking down at her foot, but she can look straight forward or she can look up. And then she bends the knee, relaxes the top arm and pushes up. Excellent. Well done, Helen. Okay, so that's something to work towards. It's not something I'd expect people who've never done it before to be able to do all on the first go. So let's go now on to sitting position. And again, we did this last week. So we're sitting up nice and straight and tall. We might need a little cushion underneath our tailbone just to help us. We might need cushions under our knees if we're very tight underneath the thigh. So we want to be up nice and tall like that. And you'll find that some days you're quite straight and able to be up, and other days you're quite tight and you need a few more cushions and bolsters underneath the knee. Okay, so we're going to bend the foot in. You might want to take the other leg out just a little bit. You're going to breathe in. Now the back is straight and I'm reaching up, I'm not reaching down. And I'm leaning forward. So I've got a lovely straight spine here. And I'm just letting my hands trail up. So as I come back up, I'm just getting that little spinal wave that we've got with all our other movements. And as you go down, you might want to just pull your hips back a little bit, and actually you'll find that you can go a bit further. Now maybe that you can go as far as the knee this week, and next week you can go a little bit further. That's fantastic. And when you're comfortable, just hold, no pulling. Hold wherever you need to, whether it's the shin, the knee, the thigh, the ankle. Lift, 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 lift your sternum. And if you want to, you can fold down. No pulling allowed. And you can see how much more flexible Helen is than I am because of our age difference. Okay, so straighten that leg. And let's bend in the other knee. Now that might feel completely different. It might be too tight. So in which case you can keep the legs straight. And if you've got that cushion there, that's fine. You can do that. So just adjust your pelvis, your hips. Take that one just out a little bit. I'm going to breathe in. And lift with each breath. And I find that after 2 or 3, I just want to pull my hips back so I can flex a little bit further. So I'm stretching here into the hip and I'm strengthening the lower spine. And then as I come up with that very subtle wave, I'm rebuilding my spine, giving the disc between all the bones a really good massage. Use your breath. Use your breath to lift. And breathe out to relax. And when you're quite happy, you can just lower down if you want to. You can bend your head forward. And breathing in, come slowly up. If you hold it down for quite a long period, you might feel a little bit lightheaded when you come up. That's okay, but just be aware not to suddenly jump up and go rushing after the cat or the dog or the children, because you'll be a bit lightheaded. Excellent. Okay, let's lie down. It's quite warm, isn't it? Let's lie down flat on our backs. I might open our door we're getting very hot in here. Oops, okay, sorry about that. So flat on our backs, knees bent. You can have a cushion under your head if you prefer. Oh, there's a real draft now. That's going to cool us down. Make sure the back of the neck is long, the chin's not sticking up. Just sigh. And put your hands on your belly inside the bones, but not on top of each other, which is too heavy. And just feel the breath in the belly. And the belly breath is that lovely relaxing breath. And I guess if the only thing you learn from this little yoga series is the relaxing breath, that I haven't done a bad thing for you. Okay, we can stay here all day, or we can move on. We've actually got a skylight above us, and at the moment there's blue sky and beautiful fluffy white clouds drifting past. Okay, shall we move on? So, lift your right foot and put the right heel on top of the left knee, and just try to open the right hip so that the knee's out, and you'll see it looks like a number 4 there. And then if you're able to, pick up the left thigh and hold behind the left thigh, and your left leg is up in the air with it parallel like that. Now, some of us don't have long enough arms to do that. So if necessary, you could use a belt or an old tie and just literally put it around that thigh and bring that thigh up like that. And what you'll find is that you're stretching the tiny little muscle in the right buttock, and that tiny little muscle contributes to back pain because it gets very tight. So you just need to breathe here for 2 or 3 breaths. Now again, I'd expect that this is not something you've ever done before. You feel quite strange the first couple of times and you're not quite sure you're doing it right. But if you can feel a tightness here in the right buttock, then you're doing it right. Okay, and relax both legs down. Make sure your back's straight, your hips are straight, the small of the back's on the floor. Now put the left heel on the right knee, just let that knee drop open. You're going to pick up your right thigh, use the belt or the tie if you need to, but we're not pulling or pushing, we're not trying to hurt ourselves. And you might feel this side feels completely different. And I find that this exercise feels different every time I do it. So we're just feeling a little bit of tightness here in our buttock, and that muscle's called piriformis. And it's a tiny muscle which can get very tight and be quite uncomfortable. Excellent. Relax both legs all the way down to the ground. Let's have a little relaxation. So I find if I turn my hands up, my shoulder blades naturally go underneath me, lifts my chest bone, opens my chest. I think we're going to stay here all afternoon looking at the sky through our skylight. Okay, right, bend the knees. Adjust the hips so that you can have the small of the back pressing down. When you breathe in, pressing down on the floor. So week 1, we just moved the heel along the floor, keeping these tummy muscles super tight. And then we brought it back again. And if we were thinking that was too easy, we lifted the foot a tiny bit, we pushed it away. And then last week, we lifted both feet and we dropped one down, and then we dropped the other one down. Okay, so you can stay whichever level you want to stay at. So this week, if you want to progress, Lift one, lift the other one, lower one slowly down, hold tummy muscles tight. I've not quite touched the floor, lower the, oh no, my back's beginning to arch, I'm not going to carry on because my back's beginning to arch. Okay, so I'm lowering one down because I'm talking. I'm just picking one up and I'm not quite touching the floor, but I can't get my fingers under the small of my back. And I can feel these muscles tight. These muscles support our back. So if we've got back pain, we need these muscles to be strong to support the back. Okay. Phew. Hug your knees in. You can have a little rock from side to side if you like. I find I really need a very soft mat to be able to do this, otherwise it's not comfortable for me. And then hold one knee and hold it around the knee joint. Don't hold it on the shin because then you could overstretch the knee, which is not good if you've got knee problems. And push the other foot, the heel away. And feel that wonderful opening up in the front of the hip and the softening of the right hip. Can't stay too long in this position really. Okay, shall we swap? Hold in the left knee, push the right heel away. So I've still got the small of my back touching the floor, stretching the front thigh, holding this knee in to soften around the hip. Excellent. So place both feet down on the floor. My knees are hip width apart, my feet are hip width apart, my shoulders are on the floor, and level one, if you remember week one, we just let both knees drop to one side and we took our head to the other side, keeping the shoulders. And then lift up the legs one at a time. Make sure your back's straight before you lower to the other side. Whoops. And then level two, last week, we had the knees together so that when we went to the side, the knees stayed one on top of the other, the feet are one on top of the other, this shoulder still down on the floor, very strong stretch around the waist. And you'll find every week feels different. So it may be that this was fantastic one day and then another day it feels a bit too tight. And you can lift the knees together if you're strong enough, or you can take them up one at a time. Whichever you prefer. I'm just going to give Helen a bit more space. Okay, so my back's straight. Before I start twisting, I've got my knees together, I'm going over, I've got my knees on top of each other, my feet on top of each other, and I'm looking over my opposite shoulder. So this is level two, we did last week, and we're bringing them back up. And if you want to progress, you don't have to, you can stay with whichever level feels right, or you can gradually build them up over the next few weeks. So straighten the right leg, put the left foot on top of the right knee, and then when you go over, you might just need to encourage that knee, and we're going to try to keep the shoulder down on the floor, and you'll feel it's a very strong twist now, the whole spine is involved. My knees are not quite touching the floor. And I'm just going to give it a little boost to get it back up again. Okay, so make sure your back is straight before you start again. So I'm straightening my left, putting my right on top, and I'm going to go over very carefully. I might need just to guide it with my left hand, keeping my right shoulder down, looking over my right shoulder. And again, I'm not touching the floor. I've got quite a gap between the knee and the floor, but I can feel a very strong stretch down my side and around my waist. So I don't advise you do these twists when you've just eaten. And this one's too strong if you're pregnant. And bring the knee back up again. But the level 1 one is absolutely fantastic if you suffer from sciatica, which is the pain that goes down the back of the bottom. Okay, so let's go and do our bridge, which we've been doing each week. So my knees are hip width apart, my feet are hip width apart, I've got my hands down by my side, the back of my neck is long, I've sucked my tummy muscles in, the small of my back is on the floor, and I hope that by now you've all recognised that by tipping up the tailbone and lowering it again in a controlled way, and then you can gradually increase, and you know where you can safely go by keeping it in a controlled way. So even though you can come all the way up, just start with a small movement. And this is the best movement for the back, the vertebra and the discs. So the discs of our lower spine don't get enough oxygen and hydration unless we really mobilise them. And this movement and the cat that we do on all fours, if you only want to do 1 or 2 exercises a week for the rest of your life, do these 2. And you'll never have to see me with back pain. Okay, so I'm gradually working up my spine. I can feel each vertebra, taking my time, I'm not in a hurry. And you can do this while the kids are watching the TV. Keeping the chin down, not squashing my chin, I can still talk. And I'm going to come all the way up. And when I'm all the way up, I'm just going to tuck my shoulder blades under. I'm putting my chin on my chest bone. But I'm not going to stay there. I'm just going to lower all the way back down, vertebra by vertebra. And this is the control. This is where the muscle strength comes. If we come all the way up, and we stay up here, the strength is actually in our thighs, and we're trying to strengthen our backs. This is a back care class. So really hollowing the tummy to lower the last few vertebrae of the spine. And don't forget to have a rest. Now I'm going to move to one side so Helen can demonstrate, because there isn't enough space in this little room for both of us to do the next movement. Okay, so Helen, can you please lie on your side in the middle of the mats? And we did this in week 1, level 1. We had both hands out directly in front. If you bend your knees, you'll have more space above your head. And she's going to take the top hand up above the head and pretend you're walking it, just that's it. Little creeping movements. Now when she gets up to the top there, she might need to bend her elbow Bend the elbow, let the shoulder come down. Straighten the arms in a straight line. See the twist across the body. Keep the arm moving, and it's going to sweep across the hips. And join the other hand. So this time I'm going to ask her to do it again, but just to stop when the hand's at the top. And I really want to emphasise, at this point, bring the shoulder blade of the bottom hand out. That's it. And now bend the top arm deeply. Bend it, bend it, bend it, bend it. And now you can see she's still got her knees stacked. What a lovely twist around her body. And she's just going to take that hand out and bring it around across the top of the hip. And then join the other hand. So that's level 1. Now if you'd like to progress, instead of walking the hand all the way around above the head, just walk the hand along the inside of this arm and bend the elbow, bring the hand across the front of the body and allow that arm to open. And again, the shoulder blade needs to be pulled out from underneath you to allow the body. She's still got the same twist, she's still got her knees stacked. Bend the top, bend whatever arm that one is over there. And allow it to come back to join this hand. Excellent. Okay, so Helen, do you want to turn over, please? And we'll demonstrate the other side so we can see the shoulder blade movement. So at the moment the shoulder blades are in a straight line, and she's going to take her hand above her head. Take your time, because this is a very unusual movement. It's not something we would normally do. Now at this point she needs to bring the shoulder blade from her left arm under, bend this elbow, and now she's got the arms straight open and the body's in a lovely twist. She keeps moving this hand all the way around. Excellent. So that's level 1. So if you want to just try that, and then level 2, she's going to bring her hand just on the inside of the left hand. Yeah. And she's going to, at this point, she needs to bring the left shoulder blade all the way out, and then the right elbow is bent completely, so that when she stretches that arm, the shoulders are both on the floor, the arms are in a straight line, and she's got a lovely twist around her body. Now if you bend this right arm, please, and take it back over in a very slow, controlled way. You can see she needs to use all these muscles to untwist the body. So if this is uncomfortable because of shoulder pain, then the knee movements we've just been doing are very similar, and they twist the lower part of the body. This shoulder movement just twists a little bit further up in the spine, but if you can't manage the shoulder movement, then just keep the elbows bent as much as you possibly can to get the same movement. Thank you. Okay, can I ask you to move back over? Excellent. So let's come on to all fours. And at this point, you might need a cushion under your knee. I still need a cushion under my knee. I need a bigger cushion under my knee. I've got my hands under my shoulders. My knees are under my hips. My knees and feet are hip width apart. My hands are shoulder width apart, and my back is straight. So this is our cat. We've done this with each level now. So let's remind ourselves of level 1. We tuck the tailbone under, and we're going to open up the vertebra, the spine bones, one by one, lifting the middle of the back, and the chin comes down. And then we're lifting the tailbone. And finally, I'm not lifting my chin all the way up, I'm just keeping it in a straight line. So let's just get a few cat curls, as we call it. So try to start the movement with the tailbone each time. Do the movement with the breath. Now normally we breathe in as we lift. Keep the shoulders away from the ears, and we breathe out. If you can't get the breath coordinated, that's absolutely fine. The important bit is moving the spine. So this is level 1. And if it's uncomfortable on the wrists or the shoulders, you can come down like this and you can still do the back curl. Or you can do it standing up like I did the first week. So last week we progressed to level 2. So level 2, we're going to bring our knee towards our nose. And then we're straightening it out behind us with a straight back, straight leg. And we're really trying hard not to let the pelvis tip either side. And you'll know quite quickly, because your elbow will start to sag and all your weight will be on one knee. So we're going to keep it completely central. And then put that one down and change to the other side. Make sure that your weight is evenly distributed before you start. Bring the knee to the nose and push back in a straight line. Make sure you've got nothing valuable behind you. So I don't want you to progress to level 3 unless you can do this very comfortably and confidently without any wobbling. And that might take several weeks because I don't expect that you've done it before. So level 3, we're going to bring our knee in. And as we take our leg back, we take the opposite hand out. And we're in a straight line. Don't hold it. Put the hand back down. Bring the knee towards the nose. Take the leg out, bring the hand out. I've got my thumb pointing up, my shoulders away from my ear. And again, you may find that you've got one side that feels stronger than the other. You might find that you tip on one side, so please don't do it then. And only do 3 on each side as you get the strength, because we're using lots of muscles here that you may not have used before. If you need a little rest before we change over, that's absolutely fine. You can go into your child pose like this. So we're going to have our hands under our shoulders, the knees and feet are hip width apart. And that gives us more stability. If you're finding you're beginning to wobble, it may be you've got your toes touching or your knees are too close. So start with the knee towards the nose. The head is down, and then you're pushing that leg back. And you take the opposite hand, thumbs up, stretched. Oh, Helen can't reach. Helen's got, her arms are too long. Bring the hand back down under the shoulder, bring the knee to the nose, and remember this is a very controlled movement. We're getting maximum strength in all the core muscles by controlling them. we're not tipping over. I'm hoping that my back is straight, my pelvis here is straight. Last time. And then open the knees wide, put the toes together, and you can stretch the arms out, push the hands away, push your tailbone towards your feet through a very active stretch, or you can put your hands, two fists, one on top of the other, and rest your forehead. And then we're going to come and lie on our tummy. So what we've done before, we've got our thumbs next to our eyes. The elbows are out a little bit. And we lift up the chest bone, keeping the back of the neck long. And we put our elbows underneath our shoulders so that the forearm is flat on the floor and the upper arm is in a straight line. Keep the back of the neck long, so we're looking at a point somewhere between our hands, and you'll feel that the strength as you're coming up, the strength is between the shoulder blades. And we don't want any creases or tightness here across the small of the back. So that's level one, that's the Sphinx. So we can stay with level one if we wish. Or we can go to level two, which we did last week. Move the hands literally one hand length forward. And we're going to lift up, feel that muscle between the shoulder blades. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. My elbows are not touching the floor. My arms are bent. And this is called the cobra. So we're lifted up like a snake. And if you find that you're beginning to get a bit tight here, you need to try to lift the front of the body more and put some of the belly back on the floor. So there's no tightness here. And then bring it down and just rest. So that's level one and level two. If you would like to progress to level three, this is called the snake. And you can put your hands on your small of your back. Your shoulder blades are coming up between, the elbows are coming up, so the shoulder blades are coming together at the back. And when you lift and release. So it's a very strong movement, using the muscles of the whole back. Use your breath to help you lift and release. And only do it 2 or 3 times at the most if you've never done this before. So I'm going to hold my breath, I'm breathing in, and I'm breathing out. And now relax completely. Put your head on one side, allow the shoulders to be loose. And you can feel which muscles you've been using. Feel the stretch and the strength and the tightness. And these muscles take some time to get strong enough to, so you can see I can hardly lift very far at all in my snake like that. I'm not trying to get all the way up here like I did in the Sphinx. I doubt very much I'd ever be able to do that. Okay, so now we're going to take our attention to our feet. And we're going to tuck the toes of the right foot under, pushing the right heel away. the muscles of the thigh, the muscles around the kneecap, and the muscles of the buttock are beginning to work. Now push the toes away, and you can really feel the strength of the leg. And it's beginning to come now into the back. And relax. And now do the same on the left, tuck the toes under, push the heel away. Think about the muscles which are working. Push the toes away, not lifting the leg at this point. And relax. So that's level 1 and level 2. You can stay there, or if you prefer, you can go on to the next level. And this is what we call the locust. Now I prefer to do this with my hands under my hips, and I press my hips into my hands so that when I lift my leg, my hips pressing into my hand. So I'm not lifting my bottom, I'm not twisting my back. So on the breath in, and we're just lifting and lowering. And see if you can feel which muscles. So I'm just going to sit up so we can see Helen. If I can ask you just to do the stage 1, please, Helen. Yeah, so she's got her heel pushing away, all the muscles are engaged, the bottom's beginning to be engaged, and now she's going to push the toes away. Ooh, she's hardly got room, and you can see the bottom's beginning to work, and relax. And now do that on the other side. She's pushed the tucked the toes on, she's pushing the heel away, she's lifted up the kneecap, and this might be as far as you want to go the first time. And relax. That's it, sorry, that's it. And she's working quite hard now, getting the muscles of the lower back and the bottom. And these are the muscles that support us when we're walking. And relax. Now I prefer to have my hands tucked underneath, and you can even make a fist if you want to, with your hand under the hip bone, and those hip bones are not going to move. So this time as you breathe in, you're lifting your foot. Lift the foot with a big breath, and you can see those muscles are moving and working, and relax. Do you need to move a little bit forward so you can lift your body?
How do you move heel?
Just one at a time. Okay, so the left foot this time, she's breathing in, she's lifting up. Excellent. And you can see how all the muscle is working, but the hips, the pelvis are not tilting. Relax and take the hands out, put them on either side of the face, and just relax completely. Absolutely fantastic. Well done. So, Helen, if you want to move your feet apart and let the heels drop out or in, whichever feels most comfortable. And this is the crocodile, so you can have your hands underneath your forehead. I like to interlace my fingers so my forehead is touched on my fingers. I find that that helps me lengthen the back of my neck. And relax the shoulder blades. Let the tummy go soft. Let the muscles of the hips, the calves, the feet. And this is an alternative relaxation pose. The last 2 times we've done it lying on our backs, but this is also a very good relaxation pose. And obviously it looks like she's sunbathing. So just enjoy a few minutes, and after this exercise, please remember to relax those muscles that you've been using. Give them time to recover and to think about the muscles. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to join me for this back care class. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I hope that you'll continue to use some of these exercises on and off for the rest of your life to keep your back supple and strong. And I hope that you'll find some of the breathing exercises particularly helpful when you feel a bit stressed. As we say in yoga, namaste.